Hi, Friday Flowers with Karen, or should I say Friday Pumpkins with Karen. As most of you saw earlier this week, I got some pumpkins and I carved them. I cut out the top and I put some holes, 5 on this side and only 2 on this side, which I'm kind of, that's kind of weird for me because I always do things in odd numbers. A lot of you might know I'm also an interior designer, so you never put things in like groupings of 2. You always do 3 and 5, things like that. So I did 5 and then I just did 2. And I've never done this before. I saw it on Martha Stewart living on the cover, or right inside the cover, and she had she had these beautiful white pumpkins, and she had 2 on top of each other, and then all these roses and things out of it. So I went and found a white pumpkin. I wanted to do the white pumpkin. I found a beautiful green one. I'll post pictures of it. They're called fairy tale pumpkins, and they are impossible to carve. I literally ended up taking an axe. I should film it because, I should post it because I filmed it. I thought I could do something where you could see me carve this fairy tale pumpkin, but it did not work out well. So I'm using a good traditional orange pumpkin. And then I went to my favorite place again. I went to Trader Joe's and I bought, if you notice, this is my new white pail I got from one of my viewers. Thank you again, from Magnolia. So I went and bought all these roses that are like orange, and then I got some that have the yellow with the orange tips, and then I bought like weed things, fillers. I don't know what these are, but I love them. I bought these cattails. And then I really started thinking about how Martha did this. She didn't fill this with water, right? All the water would come out these holes. So, and what did she put in these holes? Because if you put roses and stuff in these holes, they'd have to have water. So I was really perplexed. So I went and bought these things. Beautiful. God, I wish they were closer to me. All these dried things, like cattails, see them? Wheat. And I got, it's cheap. This time of year, it's really cheap to get that kind of stuff. So I went and got a bunch of that. Then I thought, okay, what I could do is I could cut a hole in here. And I know my head's kind of cut off, but I don't have a photographer. And I want you to see more of this because I just want you to hear me, okay? So I'm going to work on this while I do my Friday pumpkin talk with you. And what I did was I got a vase. And it's actually like a pot, and it's orange. And I put a couple old pieces of this florist foam that I've used. Now, one of my viewers sent me a message and said, you know, Karen, if you soak that foam first until it sinks and it's full of water, it's better. You don't just put it in and put water in it, because the water has to be in these sponges to keep the flowers alive. It makes sense, right? So if you have tips for me, please send them. Also, if you're also doing your own Friday flowers, especially if you're doing a pumpkin and trying to mimic what I'm doing, or you've done one before and you do it better, send me a picture and hashtag it Friday Flowers with Karen, and I will post everybody's pictures of their Friday flowers that they do at home. Okay, because I've gotten a few pictures and they're really fun to see everybody's bouquets. And this one, of course, I'm doing in this pumpkin because it is October. Thank you. Someone just brought me some coffee. Isn't that nice? So I'm going to drink coffee and do my flowers and talk to you at the same time. I'll take my coffee right here. Well, here. I'll do a better video if I do it. Oh, good. Thank you. You got other stuff I got from your tourists. Okay, no, I'm good right now. Thank you. What are friends for, huh? Look at this. Starbucks, my favorite. Okay, I need this to do this. All right, so I put this in here, and look, it fits pretty good. So once I get the bouquet in here, I don't think anyone's gonna see that. That's how I'm gonna manage the water. And then I'll put the dry stuff in the sides. It should be easy, right? I've never done it before. I'm also using my flowers cutters today that I also got from the viewer with my bucket, and I love them. And what I did was I got all these flowers home, and you'll see them on stories. I'm gonna post them, you know, in the grocery store, me coming out with the flowers. And I came home first and I cut them all you know, I took off all the plastic, all the rubber bands, and I put them all in my nice bucket of water. It does not say Ace on it. It's my beautiful magnolia bucket. And then they kind of opened. I did that yesterday. So I carved this yesterday and I did this yesterday. Because what I do is, being alcoholic, is I tend to take on stuff and I go way overboard, like today, and I get exhausted. Now that I'm older, I don't have the energy. And I'll start things and not finish them. This is just pretty typical of, you know, and I don't do that now that I'm sober. I try not to. And the way I do that is I know that I'm going to prep everything for today, and then I can really, because the main thing about this, it's fun to do the flowers, but the main thing is I want to get you the information. Okay? So the other day it dawned on me, I was driving. I don't know about you, but I do my best thinking when I'm driving because I'm alone, I think, and undisturbed. Anyway, I was thinking about, you know, how long it's taken me. You know, I've been doing this now for about 3 years, and I was thinking about how long it's taken me to really get the stuff organized in a fashion to help people. I was used to helping people one-on-one, and I got to tell you that once I went on social media and it started to grow, and I saw, especially with the pandemic, and so many people needed help, I could clearly see there was more people to help than I could possibly help. And so the whole theory of recovery is that it's like a pyramid scheme, right? I'm going to help 2 people, let's say 6 people. And then those 6 people will each help 6 people, and they will help 6 people, and it grows, right? So the main objective is I have to get the message out there. And I thought to myself, this is a really morbid thought, but I thought, what if I die before I get this shit out of my head and into paper or video form? What a waste that would be. Like, my whole purpose of being on the planet, I think, is because my experience is supposed to help someone else. And if I keep it in my head, it's really going to be criminal. It's going to be a frickin' shame. So I'm trying my best right now. I've got a new page out calling... I'm so nervous. I'm never nervous, but I'm nervous about this stuff because I don't know why I'm nervous, but anyway, I've been procrastinating. So I'm putting out a page called Solutions, and it's going to have different courses that you can get based on what you want to know about. And they're more in-depth things, and you can keep them and play them over and over. And I have a lot of experience, and sometimes I don't get it across very well. So this is a more organized way to consume my content. The other thing I wanted to let you know is that I have a YouTube channel where all of this goes. So if you miss one on my feed, any of my feeds, you can go to my YouTube channel and check it out under Karen Gardenier. Please subscribe to that. All right? And my website has a link so that you can support my work. I have not asked for any support with my work. I've done it all myself, and that is only going to get me so far as well. So I need help getting the word out. So from now on, you're going to hear me talk about the link that makes it real easy for you to support what I'm doing here. So that being said, I want to start getting this shit out of my head and onto video. So what I want to talk about today is what I always talk about, alcoholism. But I really, really need you to understand that alcoholism is a mental health issue. Okay, I'm going to start my flowers. I've talked enough straight. I just need to start working, and then I just start blah, 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 blah. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I've got my little foam in here, and I'm going to start with, I don't know how to do this. I'm going to start with roses, and I'm just going to go crazy with the roses. I bought a lot of roses. I'm going to clean them as I go, and I'm going to cut them. And I trim them, just like everybody tells you. You know, you cut them diagonally on the bottom. Ooh, my new scissors are fantastic. And I'm going to start, like I always do, right dead center. Maybe I'll change it up someday. And I'm just going to alternate these colors while I talk to you, okay? And let's just see how full we can get this. Anyway, so mental health. Why do people relapse? Why can't people get sober? What is the problem? Most recently, I have been involved with helping several people. It comes in waves, people that want help. And these people, you know, come to me very, very sick. And a friend of mine who does this with me, my group, we work together. And so this person came to us and from across the country, and was in bad shape and had been to a couple rehabs, but was really in a unique situation where he had to have a service dog with him. And God, he was having a terrible time. He was very sick. And, you know, there was someone else that I helped, 2 other women, actually. And, you know, the story's always the same. Everything, you know, it says that in the book. Finances in arrears, you know, all my relationships are gone. Everything is shit show, right? When you get sober. And so we helped this guy get sober, and we helped these 2 other gals get sober at home, which is challenging because doing an at-home detox, it was really, you know, I've been doing a lot of these at-home detoxes during the pandemic because there was no place to go and people were going to die. So, you know, it's not ideal because you want to have a medical assisted detox if you can. And I mean, because, okay, so let's talk about that. Why do you need a medical assisted detox? Well, first thing, alcoholics and addicts, one of the things that keeps alcoholics and addicts in their disease is that we are absolutely terrified of being sick. That is the truth. And I don't care if you're an addict or an alcoholic. You are terrified of going through withdrawal, and it's just a horrible thing to consider. So when you start detoxing someone, they're always talking about, oh my God, do you have the meds? Do you have this? Do you have that? I don't want to be sick. I think I'm feeling weak, you know. So that is the biggest concern why we don't want to get sober. A lot of us, including myself, took a long time to detox because I was so terrified of it. Okay. So you finally convince someone you're going to help them detox. What you really need to know is the statistics, the actual truth about detox. I worked in a 30-bed detox center, so I'm going to tell you. When I had someone call that was on meth, right? Meth is so scary. It's horrible meth labs, and they blow up, and, you know, it seems like, oh my God, that must be the worst drug, right? People lose their minds. Meth is, and don't be upset if you're watching me and you're an Alcoholics Anonymous old schooler and you're pissed off because I'm talking about drugs. Well, you need to get with the times because there are a lot of ways to treat your alcoholism, and drugs are one of them. They talk about it in the big book. Both Bill and Bob were drug addicts as well as alcoholics. So we're just going to talk about it, okay? So when you're detoxing someone off meth, it's not dangerous. That's the one thing you got to know. It's not dangerous. If you can get someone off meth, really what they're going to do is they're going to sleep. They're going to finally pass out. They haven't slept for 14 years probably. They haven't eaten either. So they're all sucked up, right? Their teeth are gone and they're exhausted. And they might have these sores all over their face. If you see somebody with those sores all over their face, that's meth, okay? That's the look of meth. So, so meth addicts will come in, you get them, if you can get them to sit down long enough and they want to get sober, they'll lay down and fall asleep, and they'll sleep for like 3 days. Sometimes longer. I mean, I've seen people on meth sleep for like a week. So it depends how long the run is that they're on. A run is a length of time when you go out on a bender and you've been drinking. A run is from when you start to when you stop. And most of the time you're in a crazy blackout, weird psychotic state. Good times. Anyway, so meth, you know, and then they wake up and boy, they want to eat. They want to eat. And you got to have some food around, and you let them eat, and then they're going to go back to bed. So that's a pretty easy detox. I never worried when someone told me they were coming to treatment for meth detox. I was like, okay, show up when you can. No worries. You know, it'll be okay. Then you got heroin detox. Now heroin, the reason it's so difficult with heroin is very painful. When you come off any kind of opiate, if you have ever before, you ache everywhere. You hurt so bad. It is just the worst possible experience you could have. Is this, it's terrible. Physically, it's terrible. Physically. It's mentally terrible too, but not, you know, it's not going to kill you. You know, people on on heroin, it's so painful that it's really hard to stay sober, and that's why they give them Suboxone. They give them other kind of opiates. Opiates are painkillers, so they give them another kind of opiate, and then they'll gradually taper them off. Suboxone, Subutex, something like that. So this one's got a weird kink in the head. Look at this rose. Isn't that pretty? I kind of like doing this outside. There's a waterfall. I hope you can hear me. This is not my house again. These are my dear friends, Florence and Nancy, the wonderful woman that just brought me coffee. Oh, okay. So heroin is very uncomfortable. I mean, you feel you're just terrible. Now, if you see somebody at the grocery store or whatever, and they're doing heroin, or maybe they're sitting outside the Rite Aid, okay? And they're sitting outside on the floor, and they are itching. Itching, 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 itching. And then you're watching them, and they're sitting there, leaning against the wall, maybe on the ground, and they do the nod, right? Or if you have a kid and they're sitting there talking to you, and while they're talking, they're nodding off, that's heroin. That's what heroin looks like, okay? So, or heroin looks like you're laying there dead with a needle in your arm. That's also heroin. But that's a kind of the detox of that. So, heroin addicts die, as you know. We hear about it all the time. But how do they die? They don't die during the detox. They die because they'll quit. They'll start. They want to quit, right? First thing, it's very hard to get heroin. It's expensive, and it's very dangerous because now they're lacing it with fentanyl. They're lacing meth with fentanyl too. So you got to be really careful anymore where you get your drugs. Isn't that crazy to say? And oh, this is turning out quite pretty. So I'm doing all my roses. Now I think I'm going to do a couple of things that I'm just going to stick out of it. Look at that beauty. I don't know how this is going to go. These are wet ones. These are the ones that require water. So let's stick a couple of these around the roses. Let's put that one in. So heroin, they don't want to be sick at all. So those require longer tapers. So that might take longer, but they don't die during the detox. When they die is you're trying to taper them, and you've got them on Suboxone, or you've got them, even sometimes they'll try to kick it at home, and they'll just taper, right? Which taper means, today I'm going to do, 7. Next day I'm going to do 6, then I'm going to do 5, then I'm going to do 4. So it slowly leaves your body. So it's a little easier. Really gets hard that last day. You think you get down to 1 and it'd be a snap. You could skip it, but that's the worst time. So anyway, this is all going to come together, okay? So so heroin addicts, you'll start tapering them, and they'll get so far down. And usually I tear these leaves off, but I'm going to leave those on because I think they're part of that harvesty thing. And remember I told you to do things like in 3s. I'm going to do 3 of those for right now. I can always even it out later. And then I really love these. I don't know what the hell these are, but these are so cool. And there was only one bunch. I left the rubber bands on that. Aren't those really unusual? I like them. Anyway, so heroin addicts, you'll start detoxing them down, and they'll get down to almost to one strip or half a strip. You get them right down, and they freak out and decide, no, 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 or their boyfriend shows up or their girlfriend shows up, and they go, come on, get loaded. Okay, I'm going to get loaded. And they use the amount that they were using when they started. They thought they could still use that same amount, and they died. I think Philip Seymour Hoffman, God rest his soul, poor guy. He was an actor, and he did that. He relapsed after, God, I think it was 20 or 30 years he was sober. And I'm sorry, I didn't know I was going to talk about it, or I would have looked it up, but you can look it up. Anyway, not important to the story, but he had long-term sobriety, and he went to a hotel and went out and relapsed and used the amount that he was using when he started, right? So his relapse started, he thought he could use that same amount, and it killed him, overdosed. So that's how that happens. People don't understand, or they're so out of their mind and they need to get loaded so bad that they just pick up and use. Okay, so you got meth, you got heroin, you're not going to die. Benzos, pills, prescription drugs, very, very uncomfortable detox. Need to have a doctor's help. They need to take you down safely and slowly, or you're not going to be able to do it, and you could seizure. What's the highest risk of death, do you think, in detox? The highest risk of death is alcohol. Alcohol detox, when I would get a phone call at the treatment center and someone said, well, I'm detoxing off of, what are you doing? What's your drug of choice? Alcohol. How much you drinking? A handle a day. You know what a handle is, right? It's got a handle, big bottle, or 2/5, or whatever they tell me. See, these are kind of weedies, but I like them. And I'm going to try to make this have a little bit of depth. So let's start sticking things out. All right, let's do that. So I might not need another pumpkin. I thought I bought so much that I was going to need 2 pumpkins, but maybe not. Anyway, so some would say, oh, well, I'm drinking this much. I tell them, don't start detoxing at home. Don't just stop drinking, because you will seizure, and that's when people die, okay? So I always told people, just go to maintenance drinking. And that is the most dangerous one. So when someone calls me from home and says, hey, I want to quit drinking, we can't quit drinking. In this instance, in all these instances, someone was at home with the person and was going to help them detox. Boy, this bouquet is going to take a lot of roses. I wonder if I should have made it shorter. I better start bringing it down, huh? Let's start bringing it down. Wouldn't it be funny if I ran out of flowers? And I thought I bought so many. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to leave some of this green on. So, what was I going to say? So when someone came in and said, oh, I'm drinking, I'd say, how much are you drinking? I'd call the doctor. I'd make sure the doctor was set up and ready to go. Like, can you guys see this? It's starting to look pretty good. I'm starting to go down around the sides. I want to start filling this part in, okay? So I need to start doing that now because I made it taller. I wanted it to be really grand, but I don't know if I have enough flowers. We're just going to go grand. Go grand or go home. So I'd always have to make sure I had detox meds ready, anti-seizure meds. You don't just want to tell someone to quit drinking, and you don't want to just quit drinking. So when people were at home, I'd have them call their doctor. Most of the time, a lot of people end up in the emergency room anyway. So I say, when you get to the emergency room, tell them you want a taper. If you go to the emergency room, or if you've taken a drunk person to the emergency room, I'm not doing these very much shorter. I think I better get shorter. Oh, these are pretty. Okay, let's get shorter. Let's do this, Karen. Come on now. Come on. Focus. You go to the emergency room, and they'll just hydrate you and give you, something to kind of calm you down, and then they set you free. So you have to actually ask them, can I have a taper? I'm going to try to quit drinking at home, and I need some help here. I'm not going to be able to do it on my own. And sometimes they won't. They'll just hydrate you and say, get out. And that's a whole nother topic I'm going to do next week on the medical industry and alcoholics, because I think they get a really bad rap. And I think it'd be good if everybody understood a little bit more about that industry and dealing with alcoholics and addicts. So we'll talk about that next week. So anyway, I always say to people, call your doctor. If the emergency room won't give you any help, call your doctor and just let them know, hey, people go, I don't want my doctor to know. Guess what? Your doctor knows. I know this isn't very professional because you can't see my face anymore. And most of the time, if you watch Kelly Ripa do this, you'd see, you'd see her face. I'm not Kelly Ripa. Wish I was Kelly Ripa, but no, I don't. Anyway, I'm rambling on. So, when you help someone detox, you need to be careful. And I always tell them to call their doctor and say, hey, doctor or nurse practitioner, this is what I'm trying to do. I have to quit drinking, and I'm terrified I'm going to seizure. I've seizured in the past. I'll tell them that. Say I need an anti-seizure med. And I might go back and pull some of these out and just make them shorter so I've got some graduation on the, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Because I just made them all one. Oh, it's so pretty. It's going well so far. Let's graduate these down. So, usually a doctor or nurse, especially in the pandemic, they were like really willing to help because they knew you couldn't. Otherwise, they'd say, go to detox. You need to go to detox. I'm not going to do this for you at home. But during the pandemic, people had to help them, right? So it was happening a lot. And I think once doctors did it, it made them more comfortable that people do need to quit drinking, can't go to rehab, and are going to need some help. So they give them a taper. And sometimes with people with no money at all, you can set them up on a taper and have them taper people with alcohol, which is not ideal at all. But anyway, you just, my point of saying this is you just can't quit drinking if you're drinking huge quantities for a long amount of time. A professional can tell you if you can or can't. I used to ask people how much you're drinking, how long you've been drinking that, have you ever quit before, have you ever seizured? So you want to get some help with alcohol detox, okay? Like I said, you don't worry so much on heroin and stuff because people kick it in jail. You know what I mean? It's doable. So anyway, you help these people. You spend this time. You spend a week or 2 weeks detoxing them. And then you never see them again. That's what happened with these last 3 people I helped. So why is that? Why is it that they would ask me for help and they would do everything I say, call me every morning, go to meetings with me, and then once they got 24 hours, literally 24 hours, I never saw them again. That is the baffling aspect of alcoholism. First thing, let's really look at that. If someone across the country from you that you don't even know helped you over the phone or a video, I mean, just think about this, really, okay? If somebody spent their time helping you and they got you to quit drinking, even if you didn't believe the solution they gave you was to actually treat your alcoholism now, and you thought, okay, I'm good to go, wouldn't you call them back and thank them? Normal people would. Alcoholics, not so much. Alcoholics are very selfish, self-centered people. So the whole idea that someone would call back and say, hey, I feel fantastic. I can't believe it. I haven't not had a drink since high school, and I just wanted to thank you for your time. I don't believe anything you say about alcoholism, even though you seem to know your shit, and you helped me across the country on the phone. I think I'm different. I'm not going to go to meetings, but thank you very much. Not alcoholics. Oh, this is turning out pretty. We need to make sure that these other ones are real short, and we're going short. Okay, because it's going to look really funny if it's just sticking up. And I kind of didn't want this this little vase to show, but I guess it's going to show. What are you going to do, huh? Anyway, so that's my first observation was, wow, I can't believe I just helped these people, you know, and that's it. I got it. I'm gone. That's so alcoholic. That's why most people relapse. They go to treatment. They get 30 days. And they go, ah, I'm better. I'm gone. They don't realize that if they did the steps, the 12th step is to help someone else. You got to stick around and help. So why do you have to stick around and help? Because This, as I started to say in the beginning, is a mental health issue. This is not a drinking issue. That's, I think if I die, I want to make sure that you all understand. I'm not dying, but I keep really beating myself up because I don't want to die and not have what I have in my head, you know, that other people do know. Other people know this. This is not a big secret, but not enough of us know. Schools don't know. Courts don't know. Doctors don't know. Spouses and loved ones don't know, right? They think this is a willpower game. So I want people to understand this is a mental health issue, okay? Because if you understood that it was a mental health issue, you'd have a much better chance of staying sober. What do I mean by that? Well, I did not understand what was wrong with me. You've heard me talk about this. I didn't get it. I just really thought if I put down the Jack Daniels, my life would get better. And it will. But you'll end up picking up again. Because you don't understand that it's a mental illness. If you understand it's more about your thinking than the drinking, then that one broke, so I'm just going to put it down low. Probably it's going to look funny. So, if you understand it's a mental issue, you'll think, oh my God, I quit drinking, but my head will not shut up. And I tried to tell these people, you know what? Your head is going to start talking to you. Yakety, yak, yak, yak. You should drink. You should do this. What about Christmas? What about New Year's? These steps are stupid. They're not working for me. I knew they wouldn't work. Blah, 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 blah. You right? It's not a surprise. It happens to every single person. But I think if people really understood that this is a mental illness, they would understand they have to stick around and treat the thinking. The thinking behind it is what gets you drinking again. I was sober for a long time in Alcoholics Anonymous, and I thought it was the drinking. And so I'm going to move these around just a little bit because I can, I guess. I was sober for a long time. Then I forgot I was an alcoholic. I started thinking I was like everybody else on the planet. And I drank again. Worst thing that ever happened to me. If I would understand it was the thinking, it would have made more sense that I have to go to meetings every day. Oh, I see why I have to go to meetings, because I'm the problem. My thinking's the problem. It's not the Jack Daniels. You can tell people and tell people and tell people, and they won't get it. Like this person that I was telling that I helped detox, these 2 people, I helped 3, but I said to them, your mind's going to tell you that you don't need to do what I'm telling you after we're done here. You're going to take yours and go home. No, I won't. No, I know. Oh, no, I'm going to do the steps. I'm going to do this. So what happened? They started thinking. Their alcoholism didn't go anywhere, right? They assumed that because they quit drinking, they were fine. They were no longer alcoholic and therefore could drink like other people or think like other people. And you can't think like other people. What do I mean by that? Normal people can have resentments. Alcoholics cannot. That's why we have the steps. We have to find a way to live with our thinking. Our head is crazy, right? So we have to think about, like, this is not important. Have you ever met someone that's in recovery? They're really easygoing. They're understanding if they're working a program. If they're not working a program, they're fucking miserable, right? They are like, oh, have a drink already. So, oh my God, making this huge bouquet and I'm pretty excited. Now, don't worry if there's holes. If you see holes, don't worry because I'm going to fill them up with all these other goodies I have, okay? That's where we're going to get a little bit more creative. But I want to make sure down low it's not too... I'd love it even if they hung over a little. I don't know how to get them to do that. So they're not so up and down. There we go. That's looking better. Okay, how many more do I have? These ones over here, I think I need to cut so that I have a little shorter over here. So, I'm sorry, doing this both at the same time, and I'm but I'm passionate about this mental health issue. That's what I'm trying to talk to people about, and I'm going to say it over and over and over again, because these people, I did tell them and they still left. Now, what's going to happen? First thing, Alcoholics Anonymous, as you know, I say this all the time, is not the only game in town. So it could be very well that they stay sober. They might start going to church, they might get into like a Celebrate Recovery, or they just might be able to stay sober on their own. Maybe they were heavy drinkers and not alcoholics. But the alcoholic, like the kind in the book, don't know if I just broke that. Ah, shit. Pushed it too far. Okay, so I don't want it broken in there. It's just going to die in a day. So let's put this down here. Okay, it's going to kind of sit like this, right? Or maybe like, okay, like this. This is going to be the way it's going to go. So let's make sure we got no holes in here. So, so what's going to happen? They're either going to stay sober and they'll be happy, and maybe someday I'll hear from them and they'll say, oh my God, I never thanked you for detoxing me at home across the country. Okay, no problem. I'm so glad you're happy and glad you're doing good. Most likely, though, they've already drank. You're not going to last long on your own. You cannot stay sober on your own. Your thinking will screw with you. And without a program of recovery, you're going to have to drink, you're going to have to use, you're going to have to gamble, you're going to have to do something to shut that head off. It's like a radio station that just goes and goes and goes and won't shut up. Kind of like me. Just kidding. Let's see. So if people understood the problem, I think even if spouses and schools understood the problem, they would be a little bit more compassionate, but they wouldn't be so tolerant of this behavior. They'd be like, you know what? You need to do something different. You know, this is not going to change. Your thinking's all messed up and you need some help, right? I think it would help everybody. Oh my God, this is really pretty. I've got one rose left. So I want to use it wisely, and I'm going to use it right here. Oh my God. Now, I'm not happy with how the bottom looks. I'm loving the top, but this pumpkin really looks sad. It doesn't look like Martha Stewart, so I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm going to tell you right now. My bouquet might, but I didn't plan on this bottom. So let's see what we can do. Okay. I don't have any ground filler stuff. I've got more of this. Let's put these in. So I think just it just makes sense. I mean, the whole treatment of alcoholism makes sense if you know what the problem is. If you don't, you quit drinking and you think, oh, I'm good. See, the problem is that in mental health, the thinker is the problem. You know what I mean? And the solution. You know, it's either really sick thinking or it's okay. You know, it's really it's a bizarre thing, this alcoholism. Okay, I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to do these small ones down here and see if we can get some width like this. Yeah, like that. Okay, can you kind of see that one sticking out there? It's hard with my apron, my new aprons from Trader Joe's. I got it because there's no straps. I really like it. And I found, I texted you guys that I got this new little remote for my camera. Uh-oh. Thought I just turned it off. Better put it back in my pocket. But I didn't lose it. What I did was I left it in my apron pocket the last time I did Friday Flowers. So I was freaking out and I thought, wait a minute, those things don't grow like feet and walk away. It's, you know, it's going to be fine. I'm going to make this one lower too, perhaps. Anyway, alcoholism, I think families would understand. I think children would understand better if you tried to tell them, hey, your mom is, you know, she's sick. She's ill. She doesn't think like us. She needs to take care of it. She needs to go to meetings. That's why she's going at those. Why is mom at those meetings all the time? Well, she's sick. She needs those people, right? Those people are helping her. So I think everybody would understand more if we talked about it, more of what it is. It's not a willpower thing. I mean, even now, I am so shocked when people text me and say something like, if my husband loved me, he would stop for us. Oh, God, it's It's not a willpower thing. It is not. It is a very horrible thing. And we love people to death, but we're just sick people. Okay, I'm going to keep doing this. And I wish I was on a live because I'd love to talk to you guys about what I'm talking about and answer some questions. Let's pop some of these off and stick them in sideways. Yeah, let's do that. Ooh, this one is not doing well. It broke. Okay, so it broke. So we're going to cut it. I'm going to stick it in a little sideways like that to give me some of that side depth I want. I am not a professional flower person, so I did this thing the other day. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest on myself and just tell on myself. The other day on Twitter, I don't Twitter a lot. Was it Twitter? No, it was LinkedIn. Oh my God. I went on LinkedIn, which I am on, and I don't do a lot on LinkedIn, but I try to help employers because if people understood alcoholism, I think it would be easier to help the employee, right? So I'm on LinkedIn and I decided to read something, an article, bad idea. And there was all this terrible, God, this is big, isn't it? Okay, so let's put in some of these other things and see if I can get that look I wanted. Push this all out of the way. Okay, so it's going to sit like, I'm going to put it the way it's going to sit for you guys. There it is. Okay, and then let's see what happens if we start sticking these in. Like this. I got a lot, so I think I'm really going to go to town with these. I don't know if this will work. Okay, there's one. And then I guess I don't have to use all of these just because I have them. Okay, let's put this one here. See, I'm giving it width. Oh, this could be huge. Okay, let's see if we can use this. I got this really messy cotton stuff, and maybe this is what I should use. Oh God, that's huge. I don't know. That looks like it'd be huge. I'm not using that yet. That's scaring me. Frightened. Here's some little stuff. Little grassies. Let's use these down around the bottom and fill in some of this stuff you can see. I want to make it so you can't see that so much. Okay. So I really have to do it on an angle. Anyway, on Twitter, they posted something political, and for the love of Pete, I don't know why I said anything, but it upset me. And it was political. And the first thing about Alcoholics Anonymous is you're not supposed to get into political stuff. You are not supposed to get involved with worldly clamors because you can't be helpful to people, and that is the cardinal rule, and I kind of screwed that up. So I was reading it, and I couldn't believe how hateful these people were. Just hateful. And they were calling this woman names that's in the press, and they were calling her names like stupid. How can you be so stupid? What a stupid bitch. You know, all these B, well, you know, the B and then the little letters so that you can't swear on there, but you know what they're saying. And I was incensed. I thought, here these are, and all these people's names were CEOs and presidents, so I got real judgmental. None of my business. Stay in your hula hoop. Karen did not do that. Play dead. Didn't do that. And I decided to comment, and I just clearly said, you would think with your, you know, regardless of what's the stance you have in this issue, you would think that you would be more professional about your responses because you're turning away business. I mean, I see you people on here with your CEOs and your president and vice president and your officers of your company. I mean, shouldn't you be keeping your little opinions to yourself? I mean, good Lord, right? And even this woman said, oh, she gives gingers a bad name. I thought, well, that is just terrible. Women turning on women, you know? So I got these two. This seems appropriate. It's not so messy as that other one. Let's see how long that, oh, yeah, wow. This is quite the deal. So I commented and I said something really shitty, which I can. I'm known for that, right? So I said something about, you guys, you would think, being professionals, and this is a professional page and we're supposed to be talking about business, you would think, I'm just not getting the angle on that I want it to stick out like this. You would think that you wouldn't be commenting like teenagers, you know? And I said, you think you could talk about this stuff at your church, your country club, or your Mensa meeting? Should have said that. And boy, I got some responses. And this one guy came back. One woman was very nice. And she was talking to me about legislation and alcoholism and, you know, really more businessy things without calling someone names. And this one guy comes on and he goes, I don't know who this woman is, meaning me. And looking at her title, I don't want to know her because it says alcohol and addiction consultant. And perhaps she is an alcoholic addict trying to hide her alcoholism. And I said, hide? That was it. I was pissed. Hide? And that's what I'm talking about. Why are people still talking like we're hiding? I'm not hiding. I'm on here right now telling you. Some of us are recovering out loud. Not everybody has to. I'm not telling you have to. There's a lot of positions in the world where people can't. But that was just mean. You know, like there's something to hide about being an alcoholic. That's another good thing about knowing what's wrong with you, is that you understand it's mental health. It's not, you know, it's not a weakness. It's not that I have no moral fiber. I mean, I'm morally flexible, but you know what I mean? I mean, why would he say that? What an ass. Oh, I said hiding. I said, you idiot. Anyway, I got immediately off the thread because I realized that I was like I was so disturbed by people I didn't even know. And I thought, I'm supposed to be spending my time on the you know, on helping, not arguing with these idiots, you know? And I'm afraid that that's what happens in the world. We get caught up in bullshit, and it just doesn't matter. Okay, I'm going to see if I can I've got a lot of these little wheat things, so I'm going to put them in this way and see if I can't get some of this bottom filled up. I don't like how I can see the bottoms of the roses. Do you know what I mean? The stems. Feels like they should be hidden more, like I should have made these shorter. And I am not taking them out and starting over, so forget about it. But that's my goal. That's my mission. If you wonder why I do this, why am I doing this at all? I'm doing this because I want people to know what's in my head. I want them to know my experience of what I've learned from alcoholism. And I want not just you to know, I want your kids to know. I want your nieces and nephews to know. I want the doctors to know. I want the courts to know. I want everybody to know. And I'm going to keep talking about it all the time. And if I have to do flowers or paint furniture or do garage sales to get people's attention, I am going to do that. There's just too many people dying of this illness. And I am not the only one with the answer. A lot of people in Alcoholics Anonymous all over the planet that know what I'm talking about, this disease of our thinking. Okay, so that looks pretty good, I think. Let me see, really step back and look at it. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to finish off these side things. Okay, so I've got a couple of these. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to put this one here, over here. Ooh, shorter. Hello. Let's go like this. Cut this one down, and put this one over here. I made those very close together. I'm not sure why. Okay, and then I'll take a really good picture. This is pretty big, way bigger than I thought. So I'll take a couple pictures so you guys can see. I might step back and pull out some of these roses and resituate them. Oh God, that's not bad at all. Oh, that's better. How about a little shorter? Oh my God, I spilled my coffee. Oh, what a bummer. Anyway, I need people to know about alcoholism. That's my mission in life. Some of these cattails I bought are dark, so I'm going to put those in. I know this is taking a long time. This is a really big endeavor. I had no idea. Can you imagine I was going to try to do 3 of these? Jesus. I am a nut. I don't know, though, about... I don't know about these, though. These are too... Those are too... I don't know. I should try to put those in there. I don't think so. Those didn't work. I'm going to put those in a separate vase just by themselves dry. What else should I do? Trying to just make this. I want some balance with it when I'm done. Do what I'm doing. Do you have any of those big ones left? Yes, I got one big one. Okay, that. Huh. I don't know if this is even pretty. This might look like a big pile of trash. It's huge, that's all I can say. It's a little too big. I don't even know where I'm going to put this. Well, it was sure fun. Let's put this one a little shorter. So if you want to know more about alcoholism and what I'm talking about, watch my videos. You can go to YouTube, and they're organized really nice on there. They are organized in a fashion that you can find if you are the loved one of an alcoholic, if you are the alcoholic themselves. I think that's done, you guys. I don't think I could put one more thing in there, could I? That's not what I wanted it to look like right there. This one, I think, is going to go like this. So, go to my YouTube page, check it out, listen to me talk about mental health and why your thinking is the reason you can't stay sober. Now, if you get sober and you do not continue to treat your alcoholism, you will drink and use again. It's not a mystery. That's why people relapse. That's why people walk out of treatment and go straight to the bar. Why people don't want to give up, give in, and get some help is the mystery of the mental health patient. I mean, most mental health patients do not think they have mental health problems. That's just the way life is. Okay? So if you want to understand more about alcoholism, check out my videos. Okay? I'm here for you. I'm going to be doing some seminars. I've got my solutions page coming up soon that should really be helpful to you as a family. And let me know what you need, okay? I'm going to finish this off. This was hard. I'm just going to tell you, this was not a walk in the park. I should have done something easier. Martha Stewart, I blame you. So I'll post some pictures and you can critique. Please send me your own pictures. Hashtag them Friday Flowers with Karen Gardner. I would love to see your work. And it'd be great if you did them in a pumpkin so I can see how you did it. You might have a way better idea than this crazy vase idea. Anyway, I love you. I'll post pictures soon. I can't even see you guys. Have a great Friday and a great weekend. Be safe.